Hey guys, welcome back. Behavior Strategies for Class. This is the podcast that is turning student behavior challenges into classroom success stories by helping teachers respond to challenging behaviors with calm, clarity, and confidence so that every student can thrive. So today we're talking about predictability and its power, routines that build that emotional safety. Because routines help students feel safe, organized, emotionally regulated, and ready for learning. They help smooth the transition from summer's flexibility into the structured demands of the school year. That helps lower stress for both you and your students. So, we're going to discuss 5 reasons why these predictability routines are crucial to your students' success this year. Welcome to Behavior Strategies for Class, the show where your student behavior challenges become your classroom success stories. I'm Diane Bachman, a trauma-informed educator, a certified trauma-informed coach with over 15 years of experience working in special education. And I help teachers respond to behavior with calm, clarity, and confidence while building real connection. Each week, we're going to break down those tough moments with practical trauma-informed strategies you can use right away. You'll hear stories that remind you you're not alone. And if you're ready for a calmer classroom, stronger relationships, and behavior support that actually works, you're in the right place. Let's get started. As always, before we get started, hit that subscribe button, share this podcast, this episode with other educators that you know so we can continue to learn and grow together. So, are you tired of being overwhelmed and feeling alone and not supported with your students' challenging behaviors? Well, I've created the Classroom Stability System, and this is the first trauma-informed, regulation-centered behavior support program designed specifically for overwhelmed, under-supported teachers and paraprofessionals who need those predictable tools, real-time coaching, and a community that understands your daily challenges. So, this system will help restore your confidence, clarity, and calm. So, if you are ready for classroom behavior support or how to manage those challenging behaviors without burnout, trauma informed classroom strategies that actually work, behavior tools for paraprofessionals, how to stay calm during student behavior issues, and classroom routines that are going to help your students with stability and regulation, and that teacher support community for behavior challenges. Guys, this system is for you. So you can sign up today so that you are ready when we kick off this classroom stability system so that you are prepared and not alone to deal with these challenges this year. So you're going to see a link in the show notes. It is for the classroom strategy in My Kajabi. So click that link, sign up today, and be in the know and ready to jump in. So like I said, we're going to discuss 5 reasons why routines is powerful for your students. So number 1, predictable routines act as an anchor for your students' nervous system. It helps lower stress, improve their tolerance for demands, and increases that consistent emotional response, right? They know then what's expected, what's coming up, and so now they're not always on the lookout. They're not always in that mode of like, am I safe? What's going to happen next? How is the teacher going to respond? Because some of your students are coming from homes that are chaotic, unpredictable. There's no routines or predictability there. And so when they step into your classroom, they're not sure what's happening. So that's why these predictable routines are crucial for your students. So the second reason is that routines build that independence. And that comes from those repeated practices, again, consistency, some visual schedules, and two-step directions. So this is going to help you, right? Because you get those routines down, your students get the routines down, and they are not bugging you every 5 seconds. Okay, what do we do next? Okay, what's next? What happens now? Where do we go? What do we do? The 5 million questions. And then that's where visual schedules come in. So, especially at the beginning of the year, I would suggest, writing down what your schedule is. Either making a poster, putting it on the whiteboard. Some students may actually need one on their desk. It's easier for them to see. Some students have like to check mark, okay, we finished morning meeting. Okay, what's next? Reading. Okay, that's done. Check mark. Like they like to do that. And then what I think is really important too is two-step directions. A lot of directions is definitely overwhelming. And I've been in some classrooms where, God love you teachers, like what's happening, right? You know what needs to happen. But it sometimes gets overwhelming when you're giving them 5 different things to do. Like, put your pencil box away, your books go over here, you finished your paper, put it in the basket, go get your lunch, get your water bottle, and then you need to line up. It seems simple enough, but for some students, that's like, whoa, 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 like what just happened? What do I need to do? Now I'm not really sure. Where's my pencil box? Where does my paper go? It's a lot. And so I would encourage you, especially at the beginning of the year, because you could work your way up to giving those many directions when your students are more like acclimated to your classroom and the routines, and they've got some other things down. So then they're more prepared as you give them those 5 directions. Where in the beginning, if you could just say, okay, put your pencil box, in your, I don't know, basket, and come sit on the carpet, right? Just two-step directions. And I know even some students are going to struggle with that, but majority of your students can handle two-step directions. That is going to help build their confidence as well. Like, okay, we can do this. I can do this. So number 3, routines strengthen those executive functioning skills, right? The planning, the organization, the sequencing skills. So that comes with those directions. Learning like, okay, my pencil box goes here, my books are here, my papers are here, my water bottle's here. I know where my lunch is. I know, all the things. And so they know that, okay, for morning routine, this needs to happen. For afternoon cleanup, this needs to happen. All right, during transition, what do we need? This needs to happen. So it's strengthening those executive functioning skills that they don't realize you're doing. You're helping them with that. Organization, right? Having a desk for some of our older students, they struggle with that sometimes. Even though you're very clear on what needs to happen and where the papers need to go and the different folders and their notebooks and their binders and all the things. And granted, this is something that you're going to continue to work on all year, right? Building and strengthening those executive functioning skills. So, number 4, routines reduce anxiety, right? It lessens that guesswork. Like I said earlier, they're not sitting there thinking, okay, what's going to happen next? Okay, how is the teacher going to react? How is the teacher going to, respond or talk to me or talk to the class? What if I don't know where my book is? What if I don't know where my iPad is? All the things. it reduces their anxiety. Again, it lets them know what's happening next. And ultimately, this is going to reduce some behavior problems. Because I've worked with a lot of students for working in special education almost 2 decades, where the transition or the not knowing, not having those routines down really stresses them out. And so they start getting agitated. And so their disruptive behaviors become a little bit louder and then a little bit louder, and then it's overwhelming. And then we've had students just run out of the room like it's too much. They can't deal with it. Where when they know the routine or they can see a schedule, and we can come alongside and say, hey, this is where we are right now. What's coming next? What does it say? And of course, if they can't read, then you read for them. Or, like I said, some students, it's helpful to have a visual schedule. So instead of words for the schedule, you could have pictures of what the schedule is and what's next. And be able to show them, okay, now it's a picture of a playground or a picture of the cafeteria. So you can say, well, this is the cafeteria. It's going to be lunchtime. Or have a bunch of numbers together and say, okay, well, these are numbers. So we learn about numbers in math. And being able to just show them so that they can see for themselves, oh, okay. So I know once reading is done, we're going into math. Now, I've been with some students where we will lay out the whole day on a visual schedule from morning into the afternoon when they get on the bus. Some students can handle that, others cannot. So we would only put like the morning, maybe up to their first break or up to first recess, and then change their schedule because it's too overwhelming even for them to see. Even though it's the routine, it's the predictability, it's still too overwhelming to see all of it at once. So if you're able to, and you find out some of your students, it is too overwhelming and now they're getting agitated, just being able to cut down that schedule, maybe 2 or 3 things at a time can be really helpful and help reduce some of those behavior problems. So number 5 is technically not on you, but I wanted to throw it out there anyway. And it's, sleep routines, which are foundational, which we all know, right? Because when they sleep, they get sleep the night before. That means the next morning they're coming into your class. They are ready to focus. They're regulated. They're ready to learn. Their memory brain is in tune and ready to go. Where other students who struggle with sleeping for various reasons, it could be because the home is chaotic, or they have to sleep with a sibling and that sibling struggles sleeping. So now that sibling is keeping them up. I've heard of students who sleep with their parents still, and that is complex and not everyone sleeps super great during that. I've had some students, they live in their car. And so do they really get sound sleep in there? Probably not. We've had students who live in a shelter. We've had students living in hotels with, 6 or 7 other people and trying to find a place to sleep. Again, I get it. Like that is not on you, but it obviously is something you can encourage, because to remind them, like, we want you to be ready to learn when you come into school. And really, one of the biggest ways is that you get a good night's sleep and then getting breakfast in the morning. And thankfully, I'm pretty sure all the schools offer breakfast in the morning. So if they don't necessarily come to school having had breakfast, they can always go into the cafeteria and grab something to eat, which is great. because we've had some students who are dysregulated in the morning. And honestly, that's really our first question. Like, did you eat this morning? Like, did you have breakfast? Well, no, we were late waking up, late coming in, all the things. And then sometimes they'll even say, like, I didn't even have dinner last night. Well, I get it, right? This poor kid is hangry. I get hangry. Like, that is not fun. And so at that time, of course, the cafeteria isn't open. So we've always had snacks in our classroom. Our school counselor always had snacks. We would always be able to go to her and say, hey, can, Susie, just grab a granola bar and just sit and get some water and have a granola bar. And really, for the most part, they're good to go. And sometimes that happens in the afternoon as well, right? They maybe didn't have enough time to finish their school lunch or their home lunch because they wanted to go play on the playground. So sometimes that's like, all right, buddy, like you got to fix your priorities because you don't want to be hangry in the afternoon. When usually they will be able to get an afternoon break and have a snack. But ultimately, of course, food and sleep are vital so that they are ready to get those routines, ready to follow them, ready to see how important they are. And of course, they're not going to notice that, but you are. So remember that routines improve behavior and attention. So again, to go over the 5 ways that routines build emotional safety is that they act as an anchor for your student's nervous system. And I think that for us as well, right? We all have our routines. Our routines in the morning when we get up and we work out, we shower, we, brush our teeth, we have our coffee, we get our water, maybe we grab something to eat, whatever it is, right? We have our routines just as much as they do. And that usually gets us going for the day, right? We know what's expected, we know what we have to do, and making sure that we keep that routine in order, that predictability, it really starts our day off the same. Like, well, you're ready. Because if something is off, I'm running around like a crazy person trying to be like, oh my gosh, I gotta go, and all the things. It's crazy town. So routines are super important to me too, so that they calm my nervous system as well. And I'm sure the same for you. Second reminder, routines are building that independence. So hopefully that will take away from them like, Miss Smith, Miss Smith, Miss Smith, Miss Smith. What do we do now? How about now? Where should I go? Blah, blah, blah. All the things. You don't have to repeat every 5 seconds because you're going to have that visual, especially in the beginning of school, so they can see, hey, Johnny, go check the poster right over there. What does it say? Build that independence. 3, routines strengthen those executive functioning skills that we all need. That planning, that organization, that sequencing. All of those skills are vital, not just for your classroom, but for their life. Number 4, routines are going to reduce that anxiety, right? When we know what's going to happen next, it calms us. And then 5, again, the sleeping, the eating, reminding them how important those things are. That's going to help them focus and regulate, learn, and help their memory. Because again, routines improve behavior and attention. So especially now at the beginning of the school year, routines are super important. You're just laying the foundation of how important these routines are going to be for them, for you, for your class the rest of the year. But remember, we can do this. We're educators. We were born to make a difference. That is from Rita Pearson. I love her. She was an amazing educator advocate for students. And if you have not seen her video, Everyone Deserves a Champion, you need to go watch that. So yes, this is short and sweet, to the point, reminding you how crucial and vital and powerful predictability is for your students to build that emotional safety. You're going to do amazing this year. You're going to be fabulous, and your students are going to excel in their academics and their social and emotional skills. All right, guys, I will see you next week. Oh, and don't forget to sign up to be one of the first people to get the Classroom Stability System so that you are never alone in dealing with your students' challenging behaviors. Check the show notes. There is a link for my Kajabi to sign up and be ready to get the system that is going to save you from overwhelm and burnout this year. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks so much for listening. I truly appreciate your support. And if I have encouraged you, motivated you to continue to learn, to support your students, even better, to help them strive in your classroom, please leave a review, hit that subscribe button so that others can see they can learn and grow here as well. Thank you.